guys, it's Anna. I completed the Manchester Marathon. That is why you can see this medal right here. And I thought I'd make a vlog about it because I was a first-time marathon runner. No way like an athlete or going for some crazy time. I just wanted to finish, and the bonus, well, for me, was to finish within 6 hours. I thought I'd just unpack my experience a little bit because it has been such a journey. I'll talk a little bit about the run up to it, what it was like on the day. I'll share a few clips along the way as well. And then finally, a little bit about post-marathon. Now, the training plan that I followed was the Adidas Manchester Marathon 15-week training plan. And before that, I think it was a 5-week training plan, 20 weeks of training all in all. When I first got to that 5K mark, that was such an achievement. I remember celebrating that and being like, yeah, park run distance. I don't know that many runners. Like, I was never a part of a running club. Oh, my training, I did it myself. I don't know how. I know I would not recommend that. If you can, find someone to work out with, find a running buddy. So what I started doing was sharing on Instagram what I'd been doing. So whether it was 5K, I put in my bio that I was doing the marathon. I was like, I'm posting it on here. I've got no excuse. I can't pull out. And people were asking me about it, whether it was work colleagues or, you know, my best friends and family. If people weren't kind of asking me about the marathon training, how it was going, wishing me luck, I don't think I'd have done it. Like, that was that round of applause that carried me through. I've been transitioning my career, been doing a lot of traveling, adjusting to a new job, training through the winter. These have all been challenges that I've managed to overcome. So it just became a bit of a habit, just doing these crazy, amazing distances that crept up every week, and I was able to do them. Now let's talk about some of the highs and lows of training. One thing that happened that was absolutely amazing, in February, halfway through my plan, I hit that half marathon mark. I just did a half marathon and I feel absolutely amazing. Now, what that half marathon really did was boost my confidence, and it showed me really the perspective of how long a marathon would be. It got me a little bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie, but I just felt this determination. I was like, right, I'm halfway there now. In a marathon training plan, you don't actually cover the whole distance of a marathon. Most people tend to go up to about 20 miles. I didn't actually get that far, but we'll come back to that. So a really humbling experience. I got really sick, actually. I remember going on a run. I don't think I got past like 2K. I was like, I need to go home. This is not happening today. And yeah, I was actually feeling worse the next day. So it was like a flu-y kind of vibe. It took me quite a while to recover from this flu-y thing. And I was freaking out because I was like, oh, I'm going to lose all of my running fitness. I'm already 2K behind my plan. I just couldn't run that week. And the next week, I couldn't get beyond 5 kilometers without feeling like I wanted to die. I just had to ride it out. Now, the end of that week, I managed to do 10K. So again, it's about just pushing through that, getting in your head, because you will in marathon training, and just saying to yourself, look, I can move forward, I can move past this. And I just built that up and just got myself back within a few weeks past that half marathon distance. I was so pleased. There was another week after that where I didn't get beyond like 16.5K because my knee and my feet were just screaming at me. And then the next week I got out there and I did my last long run, which was about 16.5 miles, which was short of 18 to 20 miles that I really wanted to cover before my marathon, just for the confidence and because everybody seems to do that before their race. But alas, I was getting into taper time. So I just thought, you know what, I can't mess about now. Marathon fit is marathon fit. You've done what you can do. Now let yourself have that much earned rest and recovery. You could have a tendency to be really hard on yourself and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But it's the worst thing you can do at times. Obviously, you do want to push yourself in the sense of, I'm going to run an extra 2 kilometers this week. I'm going to do a half marathon. And on the day of the marathon, yeah, you've got to push a lot out of yourself to smash those goals and complete it. What I'd say, guys, is make things work for you and listen to your body, because that is what I really had to learn. I did feel quite nervous in the couple of weeks leading up to the marathon. I've come to learn now that it's actually very common, something called paranoia. I was so scared of getting sick. I was scared that because I hadn't done above, like, you know, just over 16 miles, I wouldn't be able to do the marathon distance because it's 26.2. So I did a couple of things before marathon day just to ease that final bit of anxiety. Now, I'd been on some easy runs during my taper, so that final 2 weeks, and just below my shin was really screaming at me, and I'd had that for the last 3 weeks during long runs. I thought I'll go and get it checked out, and I had a physio just kind of like poke at it and do all sorts, and it definitely helped. Whatever he did, he gave me some exercises. I went for a sports massage as well. I went on the Wednesday, the race was on the Sunday, so it was about 4 days before, so it gave me time to have the 48 hours of recovery, just let that goodness get to my muscles, getting them lengthened again, getting them relaxed and recovered, and I just felt so much less achy. I didn't have the pains that I had before and things, so that was a really good confidence boost just before the race. So race day itself, I'd got everything ready the night before that I needed, so I set out the clothes that I wanted, charged up my headphones, you know, all those little bits, got them done, checked it all off, thought about what I wanted for breakfast. So I had oats, I had a nice big portion of oats with a bit of chocolate on it and some banana. I didn't actually get to drink my coffee, I had a sip of it, and I'm kind of glad now because I was quite nervous on race day morning. In fact, that last week, the last few days, especially leading up to the race, I did sort of oscillate between excited and nervous. And yeah, my husband and I were rushing out. We kept changing our minds about how we'd get to the race because of the road closures and things like that. So we decided, oh, we'll go to Didsbury, we'll park there, we'll get the tram. There were absolutely no spaces when we got there, and we had literally minutes to get the tram. So I ended up jumping out of the car. Rob was like, I'm going to drive into Manchester because he works there. So he was like, I'm going to park in town and I'll come and meet you. And I was like, I really hope I get to see you before I start. So I was there getting on the tram. There was all these people who were clearly running with their friends and family and fellow runners. I just tried to calm myself down, but I just remember feeling really nervous and anxious on race day morning. I was not cool at all. But once I got there, I got off the tram. Oh my gosh, I've never queued for so long to like tap out on a metro. Like that was insane. Yeah, walking down and I was like, this is it. This is race day. And the excitement started to hit me. I started to like look around, everyone else was running it. I remember thinking, I just wish everybody good luck. I just remember really longing for Rob to be there, just wanted someone familiar. But I just kind of sat down, just thought, you know what, I'll use this time to do the things I need to do, like transfer things between bags, take an electrolyte. Finally, I saw him and we were kind of mad dashing. I'd been to bag drop and met him. And even towards bag drop, I was chatting to people. One of the girls that I saw on my way to bag drop, she was saying, all of my friends have been posting on Strava their times and I just feel really rubbish and embarrassed. I was like, what? You're about to run a marathon. How are you being so hard on yourself? You know, and reassuring her. And I said, look, I'm exactly the same, but do you know what? We'll be better than some people and we'll be worse than others. It is just the way it is. You know, we're not breaking world records. There's always going to be someone better than us. But we've just got to remember that we're running our own race and we've just got to stay in our own lane. As cheesy and as cliche as that sounds, it is the truth. So kissed Rob goodbye. I was like, where are you going to be? And he had this like little plan mapped out about where he was going to be, like near Altrincham after the hill, because I'd asked him to be there because I needed the moral support. And I think we were talking maybe Stretford because you go past there twice. Oh, another thing, my brother and sister were both doing the marathon. They both absolutely smashed it. And I was hoping I'd see my siblings as well, but we didn't end up doing that just because it was so chaotic. And we had such different starting times and finish times. And, you know, we all wanted to see how we felt like on the day. So I got to the start area and I was near the front, actually. It was great. There was a great host lady. Shout out to the host lady that was there. You really hyped me up. She was asking who was from Manchester, give a cheer for people that are doing their first marathon. In fact, you can hear me cheering and my excitement when I was at the start. It really just hit me like I'm here. Just started. See how this goes. As soon as that gun started and the music was blasting and the little flare went up in the air, this was it. And I felt like I was flying. Oh my gosh. Guys, rookie error, I took off really fast. Like my normal kind of pace is in the 7s, early 8s, and I was in like the early 6s. So I was like, yeah, this is like me going quite fast. And the first 5K, I just shot off really, really quickly. Really exciting, loads of crowds. It was amazing. I was like looking at the signs, having a good laugh. Like there were signs saying things like, you run better than the government, or like, oh, you're not sweating, you're just glowing. And it still blows my mind right now, the level of support that Manchester showed up with and just came out and delivered. Guys, thank you. Manchester, what a city. If it hadn't been for the signs and people's encouragements, like that would have been I mean, the marathon was hard, but that would have been an incredibly difficult mentally marathon. I think also being someone who trained purely on my own and then going out on race day and there being a lot of people, that was a huge thing as well. It was a real culture shock, but in an amazing way. I really enjoyed that. I remember, like, oh gosh, it wasn't that far in, like the first few miles, there were some of the elite runners coming towards us, and it's like their knees are like up to their chest, and I was like cheering for them. Obviously they weren't even making eye contact, they were so laser focused. It was so cool to see that. They make it look easy, but it is not. And it made me think, no matter what background you come from or who you are or how athletic you are, doesn't matter, we're still going to complete, we're all going to do the same distance, we've all got this. So yeah, the next highlight for me, just before we got into Deansgate on the road where there's that big roundabout near that church, that was my first experience of having my name called out. This lady saying, "Oh, Anna, you're amazing, you're doing so well." And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. That was really special whenever that happened in the race. And then, yeah, got to Deansgate and saw Rob.
Anna! 4 minutes. That's it. Got this.
So that was such a buzz for me to see him. It really boosted my morale. And it was just exciting to think, oh my gosh, I'm running in a marathon, I've seen him. Like somebody's showing up to support me, I feel so loved. And yeah, like anytime like I saw Rob or somebody cheered my name, I swear I went a bit faster. And then we ran down Deansgate, there were so many people there was such a buzz, it was one of my highlights. They had a big screen as well, so you could see yourself on the big screen and like give yourself a wave. Loads of photographers, it was all there, it was all going on in Deansgate. Something else that happened on the marathon, because I've grown up around Manchester, it's in my heart, my home. I was just reliving memories as I went around the course of like, you know, like the ice rink and ultra, and that was my third date with Rob, or going past my vets where I've brought my rabbits in Chorlton. It was very sentimental and special for me. Yeah, just kind of seeing some of the landmarks and the skyscrapers of Manchester, that I was like, hey, we're like Manchester, Manhattan, because I'm obsessed with New York. Just about to approach mile 9 and it is making me think you have to be a little bit delulu to do a marathon. Okay, let's go. And then I got to half marathon and there was Rob just before I went up the Altrincham Hill. So I've been up one in like Timperley or somewhere like that, or Sale. There were quite a few little hills that just kind of came out of nowhere. Manchester, you say you are the flattest in the UK. What are the other ones like? If this is something to go by, some of those hills were brutal, man. Anyway, yeah, I saw him. It was great to see him. Gave him a little kiss. Gave me a little boost, and I was like, are we only halfway? I actually called him multiple times during the marathon. Also, I was opening my WhatsApps. So my parents are abroad and they were tuning in to the live stream, saying really lovely things, and I'd seen that my siblings had finished. So I was just getting a buzz, like opening my phone, but I did put it in flight mode a lot of the time as well so I could stay focused. I'd say about 13 miles in, it was hard. And then I remember about 16 miles in, that was also brutal. And then obviously that final stretch of that final 10K, everybody in a marathon who's ever done a marathon will tell you, and I can say now, I agree, that is very, very tough. So I've written down a few things that I said to myself to help me through the marathon. Got them in this trusty book here. Okay, things I said to myself, you've been through worse. When it got really tough, so what it felt like was pain in my feet, tiredness, exhaustion, just sheer like running for hours on end is hard. And just feeling hot, and you know, you sweat out a lot. Even though I was replenishing my electrolytes and gels efficiently, it still takes it out of you. So one of the things I said to myself was, you've been through worse. I went through a lot at the end of last year, and I've had my own battles with mental health. I've also worked in the mental health sector and have that training as well. So I think that came in handy, but that was one of the things that came to me where I thought, I've been through worse than this. I've been to rock bottom. And that was like, you know, 6 months ago. And look where I am now. And it made me think, you can do a marathon. A marathon is nothing compared to your brain. Your marathon's nothing compared to struggling. And that really had a profound impact on me when I thought about that. Another thing I thought was, hey, you've got a Buzzy Bakery blondie waiting for you when you finish this race. You better go, girl. Go get that cake, because I absolutely love my cake. Like less than 1% of the population of the world complete a marathon in any given year. And I just thought, roll with it, like dig into this, just feel it all. You're not gonna feel this every day. This is a unique pain. This is a pain that champions feel. Like I was just shouting positive things to myself in my head and being encouraging. So you've got to be your biggest cheerleader in a marathon or it's just not going to work. That's what I learned. Oh my gosh, another thing that really inspired me was there was a guy to my right for quite a bit of the race and he must have been like in his 70s. Absolutely inspirational. I could see people with pictures of people they'd lost on the back and they were doing it in memory for people or to raise money for causes. Like, I was just thinking, look at this. This is the best of humanity. Look at this, people coming together to be a part of something like this. One thing that was really challenging during the marathon was that my feet were hurting nearly the whole way through. I was quite worried actually when I set off. I was like, are my shoes, like even just like walking up to the start line, I was like, is this right? Loosening, tightening my shoes like every like 5 minutes. I'm really pleased to say that I ran the whole marathon. The only times I stopped in the race were literally just to adjust my shoes, and the other time I stopped. And I really hope the person was okay. I don't know who it was, but I did stop till an ambulance passed because an ambulance had to go through everyone that was running. I also had music on during the race. That really helped. I had an absolutely banging playlist with all the sickest tunes. Things that like I hadn't listened to in a long time, so it'd feel novel. I'd enjoy it because I listened to a lot of music during my marathon training. I didn't want to get bored of it. It was really, really great fun, and sometimes I was having a little dance in my head, or even while I was running, having a little dance, especially when, you know, there were areas where crowds got a little bit thinner. There weren't really people around. Like, I needed that music to carry me through. Also, right, when I set off, there was like the underground ravey people. They were awesome. The Underground Collective, I think they were called, where you ran through and they were blasting out the tunes. There were choirs, there were people singing things like Don't Look Back in Anger, and I was like joining in as I was running past, and like everyone was waving their hands. It was true Mancunian spirit. Okay, on the second half, that rock choir, for example, one of the ladies, I'm so sorry, we've been here for 4 hours, we're packing away. And I was thinking, I get it, but like, come on, like, please don't make us feel any worse that we're like the slower runners setting off later. And even on the way back, like that Underground Collective were packing up and they were just clapping. And I was like, I needed that boost. I was looking forward to that final rave. So there's just a couple of things. I didn't spoil the day, but I was like, I'm glad I had my music in at the end of the day. When we went past places like the Altrincham Market or roads where they just had loads of restaurants and eateries, oh, the smell, honestly, the smells just hit you and they smell amazing like never before. I remember going past coffee places as well. I was like, oh my gosh, I want an ice cream, I want an iced coffee, somebody buy me an iced coffee. That is how I was feeling, because they just look like the most refreshing things, because it was quite a sunny day, it was quite warm. Nearly 34k in. Sheesh, this is hard now. Whew. Mile 22. Just passing 24 miles, so 2 miles to go. We've got this. Final 5k, I just found something a little bit delusional, a bit delulu in myself, where I was like, I can do this. It's my last 5k. I'm going to scoop into the bottom of the barrel. That is my brain and my body, and I am going to smash this out. Whatever pain I'm in now, it's all good. Just roll with it. You've got this. You can smash it. And then I even had like a sprint finish at the end of the marathon as well. By the way, it was a very slow sprint, but that was like me pushing out of myself, running wise, anything that I had left. Oh my gosh, the buzz, that final stretch of that finishing line, the way people were shouting my name, the amount of people, the noise, the cheer. I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Whew. It was just so mind-blowing. Like, I was coming to the realisation of what I was doing. And then when I could actually see that finishing line, something happens in your head and you feel so motivated and you just go for it. It was brilliant. And then I found a lovely lady with red hair and I said, can I take my medal from you because I like your hair? And I was thinking, bright coloured hair girls represent. I'm a bit emotional right now, so I'm going to go and find Rob. But I actually can't believe I've done it. That's absolutely amazing. What an experience. Wow. Now post-marathon, I found Rob, we went and got my stuff. I couldn't really walk. I was hobbling along, had a little recovery drink. and I had a bite of my Buzzy Bakery blondie. Shout out Buzzy Bakery in Wilmslow. Weirdly, I wasn't that hungry. I was really surprised. I thought I'd be a lot more hungry than I was. I went home and we picked up a Chinese on the way, and that Chinese hit like never before. It was like, this is the best meal I've had in my life. Also, the post-marathon shower was insanely good too. I've never had a shower that hit that good. These were all amazing rewards of the day, and mentally I just felt so positive. I remember having phone calls with my brother and my sister, and I was absolutely buzzing. They're like, how are you doing? I was like, I just feel so buzzing. Obviously, like, I can't walk and I'm hobbling along, but it's just, I feel amazing and I just feel elated. I went to bed that night just thinking, I can do anything. Like, what can I not do? I'll never forget that feeling. And what a marathon's taught me is that if you put in the work and you keep showing up, even when it's hard, even when it sucks, even when it's boring, and you just keep going, you keep showing up. If you fall off, you get back on that wagon and you just keep going, and you practice self-care, you practice discipline, you practice challenging yourself, believing in yourself as well. That's a huge thing. You can get wherever you want to go. I had 2 days where I couldn't walk afterwards, but just the achievement, just the feeling that you'll get, that buzz, it is so worth it. And it's really funny. I've actually heard a few people, I heard a girl vlogging who actually likened running a marathon to having a baby, even though she hadn't had a baby. And she said, I imagine this is what it's like, because you actually forget the pain of the marathon really quickly. In fact, I've had to kind of go back into the archives a little bit already to remind myself of how hard it was, just because what I'm left with now is that amazing feeling that I've done it. And guess what? Your girl actually entered the ballot for the London Marathon. So watch the space. Let's see if I get into that. And if not, maybe Manchester again. I feel like I just want to do it again. Amazing. So I'm a changed woman, guys. So hopefully you found this experience of a slow, sort of average, normal runner taking on her first marathon as something relatable for you if you're thinking about running a marathon, and hopefully it's just really honed in that it absolutely is possible. You can do whatever you put your mind to. And I've got to say, it's down there with one of the top days of my life, as well as being one of the hardest things I've ever done. So the two together, it's quite something, isn't it? Really special and really unique. And that's something I can honestly say you can get from a marathon. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I hope, obviously, if you're thinking of doing a marathon, you will do it. Shout out to everybody that did Manchester Marathon this year. We absolutely smashed it, guys. If there's anyone who's doing a marathon or any race that they've got planned, got this, you're gonna smash it. Thank you so much, guys.